morning, karibuni sana, welcome back to Nani umeshtuka Rashon? Good morning, karibuni sana, welcome back to Tsalwas. Here we are about vulnerability, acceptance and hope. We share vulnerably, we accept, and we try to offer hope by the grace of God to different situations that take place now. As part of being vulnerable, we have been doing Ndoa with the Tsalwas. Ndoa with the Tsalwas, and we give practical things that we do that have helped our marriage for the last, we've not been married for long, for the last 6 years, and we think they are helpful. So we continue with Ndoa with the Tsalwas, and today we want to talk about roles and responsibilities. We did a cleaning video and it has brought its use. Our cleaning video, I don't know whether you've seen our cleaning video where we were cleaning, all of us, we were trying to clean our house. Because you see, cleaning, you see house guys or house heads or house managers, their work is to come and help, not to come and do the work. So we as the Tsalwas, we do the work in our house, and the house help comes to help us. That's why she doesn't live with us. She doesn't live in our house. She comes, do her part and goes. But the rest of the work, we do it as a family. Of course, our family is currently a family of 5, husband and wife, and 3 children, and another one coming. So, and we try as much as possible to do our thing together. The youngest is 1 year and 9 months. That is the youngest baby that we have. So,
the oldest?
And the oldest is 13, turning 14. In the next couple of months, he will be turning 14. So, let's talk about roles and responsibilities for a Christian couple. We are not talking about couples out there or traditional couples or whatever. Our basement, our basis.
The what?
Our base is Christ. So roles and responsibilities, what we do as the Tsalwas. So traditionally, there's things that are known to be for men responsibilities in the house, and there are things known to be the woman responsibilities in the house. So traditionally and culturally, one of the videos Salwa talked about how culturally he's not supposed to go to the kitchen. Culturally, he's not supposed to do that. I also talked about how culturally I'm expected to stay at home, and my work is to bring forth children. That's how I grew up culturally. My work is to bring forth children. I'm supposed to stay at home. And Salwa goes out there and he's supposed to provide. And there's this, I don't know whether it's a quote. People say, man is the provider. The man is the provider. The Bible says men should provide. Me, I've not found that verse in the Bible. I'm still looking for it. So, but anyway, let's talk about roles and responsibilities. So, for you, Salwa, what is your understanding of your role as a man in this marriage?
Are you asking my role, or your question is complicated?
You can rephrase it and ask. Najua wa Kenya, you students wanasoma tu swali vizuri. They create their own question in their head and they answer. But anyway, we are talking about roles and responsibilities. So,
well, I think as a Christian man, despite the cultural understanding of roles and responsibilities, for me there is only one role that a man and a husband has that everything else that happens or he does is based on that one role. The Bible talks about husbands loving their wives. So
As
my
Christ
role,
loved the church.
my role
As Christ loved the church.
Yes, you're right.
To the point of death.
Yes.
Can you take a bullet for me?
Why not?
Wow.
You see, whether it is house chores or whether it's going out there and looking for money, whatever it is, for me, the summary of it all, a husband, a man, a Christian man, has only one role: loving your wife as Christ loved the church. So that if it is going to the kitchen and cooking, preparing a cup of tea for her, it is an expression of that love that I have for her. So whatever else that happens in marriage, the big question for a husband should be, do you love your wife? And if you love your wife, what can't you do for someone you love that much? That's my understanding. Nilikuwa najibu swali yako.
Yeah, so my understanding also of the role of a wife in a marriage, Christian wife, is the following of that verse, or the beginning of it. Is the beginning of it actually. It's Ephesians 5:21 following. That wives submit to your husbands as submit to your husband. For your husband is the head. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. I had to go and read that scripture again because I thought the husband is the head of the marriage. So it is the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church. But of course, before that, there's the mutual submission where I submit to him, he submits to me. And then now God gives me another responsibility, another submission to a higher level, that I submit to him because he is the head of me, as Christ is the head of the church. And then Christ also gives him a bigger responsibility. The Bible also gives him a bigger responsibility, that love her as I loved the church. And how did Christ love the church? He loved the church to a point of death. So those are our roles and responsibility. So everything that we do in terms of roles and responsibility in our marriage as the Tsalwas is based on that scripture. That in whatever I do, for example, the things that I do for him, does that show submission to him? Does that show that you are the head of me, as Christ is the head of the church? Or whatever he does that then show also that I love you as Christ loved the church? As we were doing our cleaning video, and this is the conversation that we wanted to lead to this, is that currently I am 37 weeks pregnant. Yes, I am 37 weeks pregnant. We did that cleaning video when I was 36 weeks pregnant. And you saw that we were all working together, each according to their ability. Now, I do not have the ability to do what he was doing, and he does not, he has the ability to do everything by himself. But because this is our home, so I did what I could. I was doing what I can at that point. In this channel, there are times when we are doing workout videos, the two of us, because we have the ability to do that together. So in everything, in every detail, so that we move away from the cultural, because he has his own culture, I have my own culture. But then we got married, we have the culture of Christ. And whatever I do, I must show submission. So that we don't get to a point where I begin now to think he's the one supposed to bring the monies at home. So so my money is my money, his money is our money. And then we begin to lie, we begin to have, by the way, there's something called mfuko ya mama.
Na hiyo mfuko pia ni ya shetani.
So that we don't start to have small secrets. By the way, a killer of marriage, number one, is those small secrets. Kuna mfuko ya mama, kuna you know, those things. Because we have been told that the man should provide. And you hear it even within the Christian circles. That is the man who is supposed to go out there and work. Allow me to submit to us that that's a cultural perspective. It is not a biblical perspective. That one of it is the man who is supposed to provide. So all roles and responsibilities at home, of course there are some things that they are wifey, let me say, they are wife-like, they are responsibilities of a wife. For example, cleaning the babies are my responsibilities. You know, it is because we are not born abroad. We are born here in Africa. We are born in Kenya. So I cannot begin to tell my husband, si uende uoshe watoto, ama change the baby diapers, ama si umop nyumba. There are some roles, especially for the home, for the house. They are my responsibilities. Somehow in our African maybe sijui kama I am contradicting when I'm saying we form our culture, but also we live the culture, but now I seem to be bringing the culture. It's because there are some aspects of culture that are respectable. Let me call them lessons from my mother or lessons from the older woman. There are some responsibilities in the house. Cleaning dishes, cleaning the house, changing diaper. You know those things, they are wife-like. That's how we grew up knowing. So at the back of my head, I know these are my responsibilities. I know it is my responsibility to clean the house. It's my responsibility to cook. Even if out there people salute, when I get at the door, that salute disappears and I become a mother and a wife. A friend of mine was saying that when I get home, the first thing I want to do is to dress in something that makes me look homeless. Because now everything, you leave at the door, your top, your titles, you leave at the door and you get into the house and begin your roads. Kutakulwa nini. Of course, I'm not saying that the man should not think that what then should we do. That's because it's my responsibility to ensure that I run my home. In terms of cleaning, washing, blah, blah, it's my responsibility. Now, where he comes in, and he will talk about it, is as Christ, love your wives as Christ loved the church. Now, in implementation of that, that's how now he comes alongside me to help me. Now, it is culturally that it is him that nyumba kama itafungwa, if our landlord decides to lock the house because we've not paid rent, it will kill him more, because culturally he knows I am the one who is supposed to ensure that my family is settled. My family has shelter, food, clothing, and shelter. He knows that. So in my submission, as the Bible calls me to, I now come alongside. That's why we don't have the same bank account or something, but we don't have secrets in finances. This husband of mine here cannot surprise me.
Hata birthday gift.
Hawezi.
Siwezi nunua hata lollipop.
Because I know what is there, what comes in and what goes out. So akitouch tu ninajua. Na mimi nikitouch tu anajua.
Yeah. I think the challenge comes in when we dichotomize roles and responsibilities in marriage, where we say now your roles are this and my roles are this. Somehow it's a principle of division. It actually divides people. I want to my perspective And what I see as a biblical perspective is that we are coming together, we are uniting, and we are becoming one. So the issue of your roles and my roles shouldn't be there. If I am cleaning the children, whose children am I cleaning? As a matter of fact, a husband should be able to do everything. If you go back to the biblical teaching, where the wife is regarded from creation as a suitable helper, meaning that I have been doing things, and therefore my wife is joining me to do what I have been doing, not to come and replace me. I think when we say now these are your roles as a man, these are your roles as a woman in marriage, we are actually replacing the responsibility of a man. We are replacing and handing them over to a woman. So my perspective as far as what should be done, what should happen in a marriage setup is the two of you should be able to understand one another. What are your strengths? There are certain things that if left to do, those roles will not be done as well.
For example, no, you don't have.
She has the capacity. She's good at it. So not like now abandon it to her because it is her strength, but she can take the lead and then show us how to do it, and we work together.
Just say I'm good at cleaning dishes.
Yes, I try to clean, but not as good as she does. So and then it shouldn't be now an expectation that when I clean, I must clean.
And you are good at cooking ugali and mboga kienyeji.
And a few
and
other
we are not
things.
Competing.
Yeah, and a few other things. And a few other things. So now culturally, I am not supposed to even to be cooking, but we have identified that I have the strength of cooking. For example, that ugali, I'll cook whether it is there is the kienyeji ugali, the black one, the one for millet and those things.
Lakini Salo, kusema tu ukweli, ever since we got I have never made ugali yenye meiva.
You are work in progress.
No. Surely, I have made like 10 ugalis.
10? In 6 years going
but
to
when you're not here, nobody complains that ugali is not ready.
Because everybody else who eats that ugali have no idea how.
So should we also conclude that my ugali ivangi based on your standards, not that ijaiva, but based on how you want it cooked as a Luya, that those are the standards you use?
Maybe to put it in another way is, I have not complained about your ugali. But you have measured your ugali with my ugali. All right? So identifying what are you good at, then we rally behind the one who is good at, because then if the person that is good at a particular role or responsibility in the house is able to take the lead in that area, then we will do it well. So personally, my advice would be, we try as much as is possible not to dichotomize role in a family, in a marriage setup. That husband, these are your roles. Wife, these are your roles. No, just identify what are you strong in. Go ahead and take the lead in that as we rally behind you, so that we are working together. But there is somebody who knows what or how what we are doing needs to be done, and so they are taking the lead. I think it is pride for one to imagine that they can do everything on their own. It is pride for one to think that the other person cannot do what they do. I think the attitude that couples should embrace is, how can we support one another in doing what needs to be done in the house. And then also seasons. What seasons are you in? As much as I am not the best cleaner in the house, utensils and cleaning generally, but the season as a couple you're in, like she mentioned, we are 37 weeks pregnant. Now, you don't expect a 37 weeks pregnant woman to be bending in the house and she's cleaning the floor, and the man is there without any 37 weeks. I mean, that is ridiculous. That is utterly wrong. So season, there are certain things even if she's good at, but the season she is in does not permit her to do those things because of the strain that would come with it. And because I love her, I can tell you the last many weeks she's cooked maybe twice or thrice at her own pleasure. Not that it is expected of her to cook or do anything. The only thing that I have not done is to wash her. But anything else, or really, does it change me? When I go out there, no one looks at me and, oh, huyo ndio anapikanga kwake. But even if they said that, I would be very happy to know, I am different from all the other guys out here who think a man ni kukaa kwa kiti na remote.
Yeah. So bottom line is, I think in roles and responsibilities, it goes back to respect. That it's not, najua kuna vitu unaweza fanya inakaa tu wewe umekaliwa. Enda uoshe watoto, mbona breakfast is not ready, or now, something like
that becomes
nipikie chai.
If you do that, you'll never see me doing that role again, because it becomes duty. There is a difference between duty
and disrespect.
Disrespect. There is a difference between duty and role. A role is something that we have an agreement and an expectation. Duty is actually one expectation from one who thinks that they are at a higher level to the one who, in this case, is at a lower level. So I think it's also an issue of communication. There is a way that you can tell your wife to do something without necessarily showing that you are pushing submission down her throat. There is a way, a wife, you can communicate something to your husband even though it's not conventionally what is expected, but you can communicate that in a way that still maintains your mutual respect for one another, your mutual submission to one another, and there is mutual love for one another. Communication is also very critical, even as far as roles and responsibilities. Panaambia mzee wako, we enda uoshe watoto. Yes, see house help. At a house help, you don't tell them that way. Respect is important, and husbands don't come home and say, kwa nini vyombo ni chafu? Si ukiona ni chafu enda uoshe. It doesn't change you, doesn't make you less of a man. Love your wife as Christ loved the church. Be willing to die. Be willing to die to yourself for the sake of your wife, so that your wife will live. Die to yourself. Ile ego, ile kiburi, ile wanaume, you are willing to put it down so that your wife can thrive in your marriage.
You submit to your husband, because wives submit to your husband, for he is the head of the wife as Christ is the head of the church. So it doesn't matter what they call you out there. It doesn't matter how much you bring in. It doesn't matter how illiterate he is and how literate you are. It doesn't matter how big influence you have out there. When you come home, you are a wife. Treat your husband with honor, respect, and submit to him. Here at Tsalwas, we have come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for being part of us. God bless you. Bye bye.